Hey everybody, Matty Ice here, back with the final guide for the season for Grandmasters. This is going to be the Devil's Lair guide. This one holds a bit of a special place in my heart because it's one of the first ones that I did solo and also is returning one from D1, so this is a good one for me. Now what you want to do for this is as soon as you spawn in, you want to wait for the fallen ship to disappear, and then you're going to walk, not run, to the left. The reason you do that is if you run or activate your glide, your jump, your Titan thruster, it's going to alert the enemies. So if you just kind of walk, or even if you do run a little bit, it's okay, to this far left side, you're going to just follow this path and jump up and around, and this is going to allow you to bypass a lot of the enemies. Normally you just sparrow across this section, so this is just going to help get you there a little faster and a little more safe. So when you're here, you can take the overload and just, take them down from a distance. What you want to be careful about though is there can occasionally be an acolyte stuck in the wall, and he can shoot you through the wall. So just if you have a Titan, put up a barricade. If you just move a little bit forward, it's also fine to do that. But once you've taken out all the adds and the champion, you're just going to make your way forward into this little next area. And what you're going to do here is just, again, take everything out from a distance. You want to take the fallen out as quickly as possible, all the thrall, which are very annoying, and you just take out the barrier from range. This is a pretty straightforward section. It can be a little tricky if you aren't aware of all the adds that come out, but just know that there's a lot of little adds here. Alright, so this is the next big room where you have to kind of protect your ghost. This is where a lot of people struggle, just because there's so many adds that come out. I've got two different ways for you to handle this one, and I will show them off a little bit here. So what you do initially is just clear the room, kind of like normal. Just, play to range. Again, watch out for all the thrall and the adds that come out. Once you finish the overload and the barrier champions, and cleared the rest of the room, you're going to activate the decrypt, and then where you came into this room, those stairs where that first overload was, that's place number 1 where you can do this encounter. Now I like to do it by standing at the back of the stairs, so basically the very doorway that you came in, and then just shoot all the adds that come out. And then once all the adds have finished coming out, you can progress your way up and finish the rest of that wave. The next wave does not spawn until you kill all of these adds, so there's a little bit of safety here. Just know that occasionally there will be some that spawn behind you if you're too far up, so you do just need to keep an eye out for that. So you have to play it safe and just kind of keep your head on a swivel, and if you have your entire team over here, it's a little easier. The rest of my team here went to the second spot that I'm going to show you, which again I don't like as much because it's a little more dangerous. I find this is like the safe spot, but it's okay as well. So I'm going to progress now to the second spot, and you can see it's over here where the train is. So the nice thing about this spot is nothing really spawns behind you, but sometimes the hive can spawn on top of you. So you just have to be prepared for that, and you can use this train for cover. You can hide and jump over it. But again, you're a little more exposed over here, and I just don't like it as much. This season, it's definitely a viable place, mostly because of Arc Titans. So if you have like a well and an Arc Titan, you can do just fine over there. So I'm going to let this continue to play out here. Again, I'm going to show you most of this whole strike. I'm just going to skip over parts of it just to save some time. But let's go over loadouts now. So for loadouts, I recommend having at least one person with Tikus. This is just a great bow, especially when it's overload bow. I love it. There's a good number of solar shields, mostly just for the wizards, so it helps out a lot there. If you want to have one person on Trinity Ghoul as well, that's also a great choice. I probably would put the Arc Titan on it just because you're going to want an Arc Titan if you have one. If not, anyone can run it. It's just a great one overall. There's all the knights with arc shields. It's great for crowd control. It's just a good one overall here. Another good option would be Wish Ender. I don't really think it's necessary here. You do need something anti-barrier related. I personally prefer a scout on this one, just because you're going to be running a primary bow. So double primary is kind of nice, but you don't want to use your exotic for Wish Ender on that. I would much rather prefer the exotic be, Tiku's, Trinity Ghoul, something along those lines. For heavy, Storm Chaser is great. Having somebody with a void weapon, so if you want to have like one Taipan, or even just like some other void energy weapon, that would also be good, just because there's void shields in the boss room. But yeah, I would definitely recommend your Storm Chaser just for that extra arc burn damage. So once again, for this one, I'm running my well build, which will be in the description below. I've used this pretty much throughout the entire GMs this season. One of my teammates was also running a similar build. He didn't quite have the same loadout, but it was close enough. And we were actually able to chain our wells because of this. So if you are having some difficulty and you've got 2 warlocks, I would definitely recommend one of you being on stasis for crowd control, or both of you being on wells, so you can just chain your wells and have no issue at all with survivability. But otherwise, once you clear this room, you're going to go into the next area. Now, I did skip over one section where there's an overload and a couple ads, but that should be pretty straightforward. But this area here is, again, where some people can have some trouble. The main thing that can go wrong here is you can get sniped from a distance, and that they'll probably 2-tap you with the arc burn here. You can get killed by the tank, which again can one-shot you if you're not careful. And then the final thing is the fallen ships that come in. You got to be careful about them, because their cannons on the front will destroy you very quickly. So my recommendation is to use your Tikus to be able to see enemies at a distance and shoot them at a distance. So you can see I'm over there targeting the snipers from far away. Whenever you see a ship come in, just get into one of the buildings, make sure you're in some cover, some way to dodge that. And then take the tank out from range. What can really go wrong here is the ads can overwhelm you if you're not on top of them, because they spawn indefinitely. You can get blindsided by the tank because you're focusing down a brig or an ad or something and the tank shoots you. So really just play it careful. I like to go to this left side over here because there's a lot of cover. There's a lot of these train cars you can hide behind. There's a building you can hide in. And just take everything out from range here, focusing on the champions. The overload champions are very annoying, so I like to focus them first, along with all the other little ads that come. So you can see here the ship's coming in. All I do is run back. I'm hiding in the building. I wait a few seconds for the ship to leave, and then I'm good to go. So that's my recommendation for how to tackle this whole thing. Just slow and steady, work your way up. If you've got supers, use them. If you've got heavy, feel free to blow it on the tank. The boss room, you definitely want to keep some heavy, but it's not going to be that big of a deal. Alright, so I did just skip ahead a little bit here to where we were clearing out the last brig. You cannot progress until you've cleared out the last brig, so just keep that in mind. And then when this final door opens, there is an overload in there, so just be prepared for that ad wave to come at you. So when you get to the boss room, the way that you handle is you use the room on your left to make sure you're in cover all the time. But you first have to make sure you clear out all the ads to start the boss fight. I like to just go in, plant a well if you've got one, and then you just focus one overload at a time. There are 2 of them, so you just have to make sure you down them individually, because if you split your fire, it's just going to take forever. So you can see I'm downing one myself, my teammates are downing the other. It's just taking a lot longer than I'd like it to. But once you've started the boss fight, this room on the left is going to be your home. You're going to use it for cover, you're going to use it for safety. Very rarely will ads go in there. It happens on occasion by like fluke, but for the most part you're 100% safe in there. You do need to make sure you clear ads because they can still shoot at you, but for the most part they just don't enter that room. So what I like to do here is ideally just shoot through the window, because most of those shots can't hit you through a window. You can get the splash effect, but that's about it. You can focus some of the servitors from in there, but if you've got the double well strat like I said our team did, you can just go out and just chain your wells. You can just ideally have a void weapon, which we did not, so we had to manually take these down. But you're just going to stand out there once you've cleared the servitors, or just kind of poke in and out to take them out. Once you've cleared the servitors, it's time to damage the boss, and he's going to just kind of teleport around. Some more adds will spawn in. This is where you can feel free to just dump your heavy into him. You can also just use your primaries. This is going to be a lot of just kind of repetitive. He has 3 stages of his health, so this is just going to be the same thing 3 times. Once you get to each health gate though, just be aware that more overloads will spawn, so just have to be ready to stay on top of that. Again, if you have, like I said, the double well strat, feel free to stay outside. You can pretty much tank anything in the well. You do just need to be a little careful because sometimes the well glitches out and stops healing you. If that happens, you just have to like run in, run out usually. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, stay in the room and you'll be able to just take everything down pretty slowly but surely, and you'll be able to clear this one out pretty easily. And with that, you've completed every Grandmaster this season, and you've either gotten your seal or gilded your seal. Hopefully you had any other issues. Sometimes you have to wait another season to get it, but once you get the seal, it's much easier to gild it. But hopefully this video helped you. If it did, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to the channel. As always, if there's anything you wish for me to cover, just let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions about this, something I was running, something I was doing, again, feel free to comment. I'm very responsive in the comments because the channel is still so small right now. I can get to pretty much all of them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.